All right, so to drain our engine oil, underneath the oil pan, there's a 8mm Allen that you just have to use that wrench on.
Right there?
Yep, and then just crack it loose. Ooh. Now, the next thing we're gonna do is drop our engine oil filter, which is located underneath this little triangle cover right there. So it's just with this 10mm socket on a 1/4" ratchet to undo those things, and it helps to go from the top. Yeah.
Okay. Am I getting it? Wait, like, why aren't you helping me?
All right, you're like.
I don't know how to do
so
it.
I guess in order to do that faster, you can do like that.
This?
Yeah.
You have to hold this?
Yeah, I just
You
spin it
hold
like
this?
I hold this knurled part right there.
This?
Yeah.
Like this?
Yeah.
Am I doing it?
Yeah. So you're gonna pop that cover off, and it might be stuck a little bit.
Okay, also, I'm not a trained mechanic.
No, I know you're not, and your audience knows you're not either. So I pull that cover off, and then behind that, you'll see that cover down under the oil filter. So that's our oil filter.
Right here.
So now we're gonna pull out that middle nut. So take that nut off on the inside of the oil filter there, and that is with a 17mm wrench. And then once it's loosened, you can do it with your hand actually.
Okay.
So
now there's gonna be oil coming out of here too.
yep, I have the drain pan underneath it, so it should catch it. And then we're gonna pull so you should
Do
be able
you
to
have
pull
to-
that out.
The whole thing or just the...
The bolt, and then that aluminum piece will come out with it.
Oh, okay.
And then we can pull the oil filter out from in that hole. So if you reach in there, you should be able to pull that whole like cartridge out.
I don't know about that.
What do you mean you don't know about that?
Well,
Yep. You might need a pick tool or something.
oh.
You want a little pick tool?
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Kevin, what's your favorite thing about the R75/5?
I don't know, I actually like the styling. And this is a short wheelbase model, so it has a little bit different handling.
So is that better for handling, having the short wheelbase?
Yeah. So and then we'll replace that. That comes with the oil filter. So now you can install the new oil filter, just sliding it into that hole right on that middle center peg thing. So that just slides in there like that.
Okay.
So we can install that center cap on our oil filter.
I shouldn't be doing this.
We won't be using the white one or this one, but we will need that crush washer.
Okay.
So the crush washer is going to go on this drain plug. So on this drain plug here, you just have to get rid of this one and then put the new one on, and that threads into the oil pan. And then on our oil filter cover, we're going to install that new gasket there.
Okay.
So that goes on just like that. Looks like you got it. And then we're going to be reinstalling magnetic drain plugs in everything: engine, transmission, rear drive, and drive shaft. So then we're going to be using a wrench to undo the drain plug on the transmission. Yeah, once it's loose, you should be able to reach in there and do it by your hand.
Oh yeah, I got it.
Yep, so to spin that off, and then we will drop our transmission oil. So now there's the transmission fill plug right there underneath your left carburetor, and you're just going to crack that loose, and you should be able to take it out with your fingers after you've cracked it loose.
That's right there?
What you just undid.
Oh, this right here?
Yep. So like we mentioned earlier, we are replacing our drain plugs. We're going to replace all the drain plugs with, these are magnetic ones, polished magnetic ones, so it'll give a little bit more of a visual appearance. And these are our old ones. And our old ones are still magnetic here, but if you actually do a test between the old one and the new one, you can just feel, yeah, right on the steel.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
Right, you can tell how much more magnetic
Yeah,
the ones that I sell are. So that'll catch a lot more debris.
So now we're doing the rear drive, correct?
Yep, so you're gonna loosen up the rear drive drain plug.
Okay.
That's a 19 millimeter wrench there. And then you can just undo that by hand, and then we'll drain our oil out of there.
You have to spill oil on your hands sometimes. Okay, this is off. Oh, there we go.
So now we can drain the drive shaft up there. The drive shaft is a 50, so you're gonna wanna loosen it.
Is that tightening it?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
Now it's loose, and then you should be able to get it out the rest of the way by hand.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's easy. I'm gonna be like Kevin and get my hand up really quick.
There you go, and then that's gonna drain there. There's not much oil that's in there, and you'll need to take the top plug out to see it drain mostly.
Okay.
So you can see the oil in there is not that bad. It's not that good, but it's not that bad. And now we're installing the rear drive drain plug into the rear drive. So we'll install our drive shaft drain bolt right there. So that fluid is actually pretty dirty up there. It's like, I don't know, separating from itself. Word.
Huh?
So now for our rear drive, this is what we call a spill to fill. So just pour the gear oil in until you can't fit anymore.
Oh, all right.
Are you excited to work on your own bike finally?
Yes.
This is the pains of your labor will slowly pay off.
I'm not as good as you, that's all. This is Pennzoil Platinum Axle Oil, 75W90.
Yep. So we're going to be using full synthetic 75W90 in the engine oil, or sorry, in the transmission, rear drive, and drive shaft, and then we're using 20W50 in the engine.
So is this, do I need to be measuring this one or?
This one is again just like the rear drive where it's a spill to fill.
Okay.
So you're literally just going to fill it all the way up until it spills out and you can no longer fit any more oil in there when it's on its center stand.
All right.
And we can reinstall our fill plug. Pour in 2 quarts of oil. So I'm using Valvoline 20W50 VR1. So now, as part of our kind of tune-up process, I think it's a good idea just to replace our spark plugs. So to do that, you just pop the boot off, and
What
then.
about this like sitting on top of here? Is that an issue? Should that be
Well,
shorter?
that should be a little bit shorter. These are actually aftermarket ones. So
Okay.
part of this several part process, we're going to end up replacing these and put some more correct ones on,
Okay.
and then we'll have the length of the wire optimized, we'll say.
Okay.
So yep, just pull that off and then grab the spark plug right there.
All right. So what can our spark plugs tell us?
So this actually, if you look at it, it's like really dark and kind of sooted up.
Yeah.
And that's actually a sign that it's running a little rich. But so we'll end up going through our carburetors. But for now, let's just throw some clean ones in and we'll get a reading. Obviously, this bike was down in Tennessee and I guess I don't know what elevation it was at, but now it's here at a different elevation. So it's possible that the carburetors might need a little bit of adjusting.
Okay.
So we'll tighten these up in there. We'll do the same thing on the other side.
All right.
To replace the battery, honestly, this battery is pretty weak, and also the fact that it's yellow drives me absolutely nuts. So we're going to replace the battery, and then it's actually pretty easy to replace the battery if you remove your airbox here. So what a more perfect time to replace the air filter and then change the fuel line out as well while we're at it. You know, once this airbox is off, there's this fuel line that runs through the airbox. So we'll put the correct fuel line, it'll look a lot better. So take the seat off, get our gas tank off, and then we'll tackle this. What do you say?
Do you think our marriage is going to last this series?
So you're gonna open up the seat there, and that'll flip up, and that's...
But we don't have the little... The little
Well,
case that usually goes in here.
So we have a new toolbox tray that we'll install, and then we also have the battery cable. This battery only has one.
Oh.
So we'll replace this battery cable and also a new negative terminal or negative battery cable as well.
Is there a petcock or something that we need?
So yeah, we're gonna take our gas tank off next. So we just make sure our petcock here is on off, and then we should be able to, which it is, and then just pop our gas lines off. So it should just pop right off.
Just pop these off.
Yep.
Okay.
I have to pull a little bit. Boom. We'll do that same thing on the other side.
Okay.
And then this wing nut under here, we're also missing one of the wing nuts here. We only have one, so we'll install some fancy ones. Lines off and our wing nut off. We can remove the gas tank. I think we have a full gas tank, so it's a little bit heavier than normal. So now we're gonna be undoing our intake tubes. So just by undoing these two hose clamps, and then we'll undo our airbox. This is supposed to be a flathead, but on this bike it's a Phillips for whatever reason. We'll be replacing that. Yep, and then we'll take that airbox bolt out, and then we should be able to just kind of grab this half of the airbox and then just kind of remove it. Make sure looks like it's catching on.
There we go.
Just like that.
Oh, it's very light.
Yep. And then just kind of tuck that off to the side like that. And that's going to expose our air filter. Yep, get that out of there.
Ooh.
And then we'll replace this section of fuel line and get the battery out of there.
Black battery, so much nicer.
I've been yearning to get rid of this cheap looking ground cable. I don't like how the part rubs on the frame. Big difference. See how nice that looks compared to that? Yeah. Like, come on.
Kevin has taken over some parts of this now. I think he's unsure about my mechanical abilities. But I am curious to know, for people watching this, what is your favorite BMW motorcycle?
So we're lining up the fuel line, the new fuel line with the old fuel line, and then just cutting it to match the same size.
Done.
Yeah, just feed it through there. So it doesn't really matter which way you put it in because it turns, you know. So feed it through the airbox, and then we'll put the air filter in, and then shut the other side. The air filter will sit on those three little nubs inside of there.
Okay. Like that?
Yep. And then this cover. These fuel filters are often neglected. And these are probably the first time this has ever been really, I bet you this has been looked at. See a little bit of stuff on there, but. This one literally doesn't even have one.
Oh. Really?
Really, so that's weird. So like right where your hand is, you can feel it where your hand is.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little part that engages on the... Yeah, just like
that.
So we can undo the muffler bolts right down there. Yep, so you can literally just grab it and pull it off. Boom.
Okay. Okay, so first I gotta get it on there, right?
Mm-hmm.
There, like that. And then, do I go towards the bike?
Think about it.
Lefty loosey. Towards the bike. No, maybe not. Oh, this is hard.
where you have to have your clutch in?